PK in the universe, and I am back again with another video. First off, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping, and I'll give you guys a timestamp when the video really starts. So here we go. Anyways, just want to talk about some of my future Evercade purchases. I've pre-ordered the C64 Collection 2 from Amazon. Don't know when that's coming. There was kind of like a date pending or whatever. I don't know. And then I ordered the Pico Interactive Collection 3, but I ordered it from Songbird Productions. I've never ordered anything from Songbird, so this will be an interesting experience. And I want to see if I could order from every single place I can order from. And yeah, maybe sometime I'll order from that Video Games Plus place at some point. But yeah, shipping was like $8. I was like, dang, $8. Shipping has gone up quite a bit lately, and I think we're a little spoiled by Amazon these days, but in fact, games in general on Evercade are still kind of high. You know, I'd made a video talking about like, about the price of Evercade cards, and they're still pretty high even on Amazon. You know, you can tell they're just. I wish there was more games in the pipeline. You know, as far as product. You know, obviously to see like make sure there's it's fully stocked, but it is what it is. I mean, we'll never have a problem getting the Worms collection, but I'm not getting it. But anyways. So also I wanted to say thank you guys who enjoyed my April Fool's joke. Not the first, parody video of Evercade stuff I've made. And I appreciate all the people who had a great sense of humor about it. And I'm laughing at the 3 people that didn't. But anyways, yeah, so that's all the housekeeping I have for on that. So let's get right to the video. Anyways, I want to talk about native ports today. Donut Dodo just dropped recently as the Evercade Game of the Month. So that'll eventually be on Indie Heroes Collection 3. So I'm really excited about that. I love seeing more indie games on Evercade. The more indie games, the better. I truly believe that Evercade has the potential to become an indie powerhouse, honestly. It really could be, depending on how they focus these cartridges and continue to put out more and more indie carts. I think would be helpful and really helps Evercade grow. But I think what could help Evercade grow more is more native ports. But more specifically, I think they need to do more native port exclusives, because we have not seen a native port exclusive. The only exclusive technically we have really is Quest Arrest, because it's the Game Boy Color version, and that has exclusive features, I guess, because it's really the DX version of Quest Arrest when you think about it. And yeah, so we don't really have a lot of exclusives, and I think exclusives would help tremendously. But how do they do it? I mean, one thing they could do is start their own studio, and I've talked about this relentlessly on this channel, is I think Evercade, Blaze in general, needs their own studio of people just making games exclusively for Evercade. I'd love to have, Katie the Evercade platformer or whatever, I would love to see something like that. But also, there's another route they could go, and that is hook up with an indie dev who's already making a game. Find somebody who's already making a game that hasn't published it yet and be like, hey, we'd like to do an exclusivity deal with you for like 5-10 years, something like that. And be like, hey, rather than just, give them a bag of cash, simply be like, hey, we will give you 20%, 40%, whatever, whatever percentage they want to negotiate to basically, you get a cut of every cart we sell. And I think that would be really cool because, Evercade would have a partner with this in regards to that cart, the success of that cart. So that developer, of course, is going to promote those games even more so. And, and hey, come buy this on Evercade. And guess what? More people are going to buy it on Evercade. Here's the game, the Cathedral Always Awakening Double Pack. I love this collection. It's fantastic. My friend Nick actually played this version of it, of Cathedral, actually on Evercade. He came over to my house a while back. I think I've told this story before. But here's the thing about it. It didn't encourage him to go buy an Evercade or an Evercade VS or an Evercade EXP. It encouraged him to go buy Cathedral. And he could already buy it on Nintendo Switch, so he bought it on Nintendo Switch. So that's the thing about these games is, yes, it's great to have a game like Cathedral, a game like Donut Dodo, something like that, on Evercade, having native ports, showing that, hey, they can put more than just, ROMs from a Game Boy onto a cartridge. They can put, a full-fledged digital game that sells on something like, the Atari VCS or something like that. So I think, yeah, there's a lot of value in getting more and more native ports, but I think native exclusives would be absolutely huge. And I think there's a lot of indie devs who are working on something and would love to have an opportunity to make their game physical. but I think getting them to not publish it on other platforms would require some type of agreement. So I think ultimately, yeah, you gotta get exclusives. And I think, yes, we need more indie stuff, you know, and there's a lot of people who make these recommendation and speculation videos. Speculamendation, is that what we would call it? I don't know. And I think those videos, they serve their purpose and they have their place, certainly. And I feel like they absolutely belong in the, you know, Evercade Discord recommendation section because, you know, the guys over at Blaze, they want to know what games you're interested in seeing, obviously. And I was watching Crazy Burger's videos. He's been doing a couple. He cranked out about like 3 videos in a row, honestly, on just recommendations he'd like to see on Evercade. And he had talked about Celeste and Undertale. And those guys would probably want their own single cart. That's just a given. You know, the creators of those, I mean, in general, would want, the people who work to create those would want a single cartridge, obviously. Yeah, I'm not going to see them. I don't see them being okay with putting it on a dual cart, honestly, if that were to happen. And here's the thing about something like Celeste. The thing about Celeste is so 2018, okay? I mean, it's a good game. I really enjoyed what I've played of it. I think it's awesome. But at the end of the day, I mean, I have it on Switch. I have it on PC. I had gotten it in an like itch.io bundle or something that had a whole bunch of games in it or whatever. So I have ways to play it. And if I ever wanted it physical, guess what? I mean, I could pay a scalper ridiculous prices for the limited run version, but guess what? Recently, of course, it's going to actually be re-released on PS4 and Switch physically. In fact, you can pre-order it right now or whatever for $35. I think it's at like Target and Best Buy, I want to say, are the places that have it. So yeah, it begs the question, why would I spend $35 on the Evercade version when I could spend it on the PS4 version or the Switch version? You know, to the average person might think that way. It's like, why would I buy a whole new system just to play Celeste if you haven't already played it anyways? And who hasn't already played it? I feel like, yeah, them re-releasing Celeste has more to do with the fact that, you know, a lot of people probably don't want to pay limited run games scalper prices or whatever, you know, that, you know, they know it's like they're paying way over retail of what these people paid for it. You know, but it's supply and demand. There's a scarcity of that game. I don't know. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, the guys over at Blaze, they need to get more exclusives. More exclusives and more native exclusives would be huge. I think that would actually grow the Evercade brand more than simply just getting more of these comfort food games. Yes, Evercade's all about discoverability and affordability. I mean, I know that some of my friends across the pond, maybe they never experienced Intellivision games. So they were excited to get those Intellivision collections. Me, living over here in the United States, I never experienced the C64 games. So it's really interesting for me to grab a C64 collection. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I ordered the C64 collection too. And I'm curious to what'll be in there that will really interest me. And the Pit Stop 2, actually, I think that's the one that really interested me the most because I've been on a real racing kick lately. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think we need to see more exclusive native ports and just more exclusives in general. I think that would be preferable. And again, so I think, yeah, the best place to look as far as looking for games to recommend to the guys over at Blaze is to look for, you know, creators of games that, you know, look like they could go on Evercade that they haven't actually finished or published. I don't know. But yeah, you got to find a developer who basically is interested in partnering up with somebody to sell their game. I think that would be huge if Blaze could find a game that you can't get anywhere else. You know, and maybe just one game. One game alone that you can't get anywhere else might not sell people on Evercade. But if you had 5, 10, 15 games, and you got people who really like indie games and like to support indie games, this could, I think, grow Blaze as a brand overall. Now, we'll see if they actually do that. We'll see, you know. But that's what I would like to see. What would you guys like to see? What would you guys like to see from the guys over at Blaze, you know, as far as exclusives? Is there any exclusives you've seen that maybe aren't all the way there yet, but you'd love to see them on Evercade? Comment below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching and stay awesome in this universe. Thanks. Bye.